until you
until
bring me up.
until I bring you
Okay.
on. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. All right. Now, what is this podcast format on?
No, we're live. Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Professor Spira, and welcome to the Mucus-free Life Podcast. And this is the second episode of the Mucus-free Life Podcast. And the first one was a lot of fun. And today is going to be even more fun because in a few moments we're going to bring on Brother Air and get into discussion with him. A lot of you know that years ago, from 2006 to 2009, we had a little radio show by the name of Immortality Pipeline on WAIF FM 88.3 Cincinnati. And those were some days back then. That was way before all of the internet stuff and the Facebook and all that kind of stuff. We were getting busy, really putting this information out in one of the most backward places in the country. And here we are on this radio talking about Mucusless Diet Healing System and everything that's connected to that, and just blowing people's minds, and a lot of people not knowing what to do with us. They call in and they want to cuss us out, and we have to, you can't cuss on the radio. You gotta, you have to get them off there. But we also got a lot of love and a lot of people that were interested in what we had to say, would do their enemas during the thing. So that's a tradition that we might be able to do with the podcast now that you can either listen to it live or you can, get into do your enema during the podcast. So yesterday, me and Brother Air did a webathon for the Air It Day celebration, which is going to be on July 27th and 28th in Columbus, Ohio, at the Whetstone Park of Roses. And we are asking for your help. We often don't come and ask for support and help in terms of money, but right now we want to put on a world-class event in this Air It Day celebration. Last year we spent what we could, but we did everything just that was within our power. Had it at my house. Folks that came and spoke were all local folks that were pretty close. And so this year we want to take it to the next level, really just put on a world-class program that really honors the legacy of Professor Arnold Ehret and puts that information out there to even more people, because this kind of event fosters interest, even from people that aren't into the Mucusless diet. They hear something's going on. It's one thing, we're on here talking about information and sharing experiences and anecdotal type of stuff, but that turns some people on. But a lot of people, they're just over there talking about a book or selling something, whatever. But with an event, there's certain people that just kind of makes their eyes go up, like, wait a minute, there's something is happening. There's some legitimacy here. But when you start putting these events together and people start to look at it differently. Of course, we're doing the same thing we've done for years. We've been doing this for years in terms of putting on events that are about the Mucusless Diet Healing System, whether there was 2 or 3 people that showed up or 100 people that showed up. We was doing it anyway. So there's a link below for our GoFundMe, and I'd like to thank all the people that already donated. We are on our way to reaching our goal in terms of the amount and all the budget information. I won't get into all that here. That's all there. The gifts for different levels. If you donate, depending on how much you donate, there's different levels. There's sponsorship opportunity. If you donate enough money, then you can sponsor your brand or company, have your logos on things, that kind of thing. And so this is an opportunity for you to really help us out, help the community out, help the world out. We're going to be revealing some groundbreaking information at this event that's a game changer. It's basically the template for the next 10, 20, 30 years on how to create a mucus-free community in person. You know, we've dealt with the mucus-free online community for some years now. Now we're talking about what does it take to bring folks together and create an environment and ultimately a nation, a mucus-free nation of people. Because that's what we need. That's what the world needs. So without further ado, I know all of you are very excited to have a discussion with the next gentleman that I'm going to bring on here. And this is my for the podcast, my first interview, the first person that I'm going to interview on this new Mucus-free Life podcast. And of course, it is going to be none other than Brother Air. What's going on, Brother Air?
Professor Spira. I know I'm the first because I come pretty cheap.
yeah, man. Yeah,
I'm in the budget. So
right.
Yeah.
That is true. So we're getting fancy with our with what I'm trying to do here. I'm hoping that the broadcast is cool and that that you're hearing everything, seeing everything good. I just wanted to check. It looks like everything is going smooth out there. But so what is been going on, Brother Air? What's happening in the life of one of the most notorious fasters on the planet? What's happening?
Wow. Well, I'm actually in the eating world.
Okay.
And I have to just, always distinguish that, because it is, to me, it's like I'm in two different worlds. When I'm eating, when I'm fasting, man, it's drastically different worlds.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting ready to get this fast going.
Right, get
the
back
push,
to yeah.
The push, the push to the Eric Day fast. So that's what I'm trying to get my locomotion going, and
right,
and studying and just trying to work out some new things that I want to accomplish, and I'm always looking to do more dry fasting.
Yeah, that's the
that's always my aim, is to more dry fasting, really concentrating on my breathing techniques, exercises, extending them more into the day, concentrating on that more. And so that's where my head is at, man. Just musically, we're trying to get the Professor Spira Brother Air Fire Project off. It's probably is going to be a debut at the Eric Day, but that's going to be a band that we're going to really try to knock some walls down with.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so trying to get my head into that, and just like on the social level, you have people that that depend on the whole social connection, trying to really reduce that to its lowest denominator. Like, I only want to deal with people that are really, really seriously passionate about living.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that in a way that when I say passionate, I'm saying very very innovative and imaginative about ways that they can live longer, and are willing to try some things, man. What did Brother Vic Buttram used to say? Explore and discover.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where my head is at, man. I want to be around people who really want to explore and discover. And
that's so important, that to keep that energy, keep that aspiration of wanting to take things to the next level. So while you brought up your daily, because as I know, these are the kind of questions that folks always ask, so I'm gonna ask you. So right now, since you're in your eating period, so what is a day in the life of Brother Air when you're eating? Like, what's your schedule? You get up and
yeah, well, I mean, I when you say get up, it's like I'm never going to sleep, man. The sleeping ritual is just so, man. I mean, I'm up all the time, man, and I'm surprised when I fall asleep. I actually wake up. I actually wake up like, yeah. It's almost like, man, like I'm scared to fall asleep. Like I wake up with that kind of feeling, like.
I mean, would that like be as if, because this kind of harkens into deep topics that you don't hear people talk about, which would be, is sleeping natural? To what extent are we supposed to sleep?
I think it's unnatural to the point of that we do live through it, but
we've taken actions that make it needed. I mean, we are put to sleep. We are.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
unconsciousness and vulnerability. Our actions have created that situation. Now, when we start this type of conversation, I have to say, I'm not telling anybody not to sleep, or that a goal of yours needs to be not sleeping or sleeping less. This is just go with us here. Go with us on this journey of thought. This is a journey of thought and action.
Enough about us to know that we talk on this real visionary and idealistic type of level, but I'm living. What I say, and I'm trying to tell the truth, is about how I feel and what I'm living through.
Right.
So this is how I'm living and what I'm going through. I don't sleep that often, literally. I mean, but I was out on my porch. I must have nodded off anywhere between 6 and 7:30.
Yeah.
And that was it. I mean, and then I was back up. I mean, I was sitting on my porch. I look, oh man, I'm out here on the porch. People were going to work and
yeah.
So I mean, yeah, sleeping, and I'm doing more sleeping now that I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. And I'm telling you, when I say more, I'm talking about like an hour more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like 4 or 5 hours. I haven't had a 4-hour sleep. Like if I lay down at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll stay asleep till 7 or 8 in the morning. I haven't done that since probably the 90s.
Right.
So am I hearing some music?
Yeah, you're hearing
okay.
a little background music from the Brother Air album, which you recorded at the end of your first 8.5-month juice fast.
Yeah, man. And, that's what I didn't know if it was that. I didn't, and then I didn't know if it was supposed to be happening. I was just thinking.
Yeah, no, I threw that in there. I will confess, I've been checking out different kind of radio shows and podcasts and things that I hadn't really looked at and been into that in years, at least that type of stuff. So I've been kind of watching, like, and seeing, and they'll put in music all of a sudden. They usually put in hip hop and stuff, but they'll people be talking, they'll put music in, they take it out, then they'll have little things that lead into something else that they create that have audio. And so I'm experimenting. I'm experimenting and seeing how the vibe goes when we listen back to it. But so that's the sleep. So let's get to, all right, so you nod off at 6 and wake up at 7:30. Then what do you do? Because I know that you don't necessarily want to be public in the morning. You still have a morning concept, because that's something that I like to try to move away from, to the point where I want my 7 a.m. to feel like 6 p.m. Like, I don't want to, I want all day to me should feel there shouldn't be something that like prevents you from being able to function at the highest levels at all times. But that's a personal thing. That's my thing. But I know you, but you kind of but I think you take the morning, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you kind of take the morning as maybe a meditation period or something. Is that when you're kind of breath work and
contemplation period? Okay, more than a meditation period. A contemplation period of just things that I've done, kind of going over the day before, of some things that I might have done that really worked, and things that I've done that was completely wrong, and just thinking about where thoughts come from, or why did I think like that? Social pieces of how I interacted with certain people, what motivated that, and what I need to do today, like, how am I gonna elevate? It's all about elevation. Every day is about elevating. And sometimes elevation, man, in my world, is about exposing others, and it's almost like the sheriff, like somebody has to do it. And I'm not talking about being mean to people, but I'm just talking about like certain things that you have to bring to the dark, with people, and you might have to be a little rude, or you just have to think about things that's coming up, and folks that to the point where your neighbors are using your water to sprinkle their children, under the sprinklers, but they're using your water. Little mucus and pus type of situations that you just got, like, man, I got to deal with this, So just all those things. Breathing techniques, I do a lot of that, where I'm just sitting and acting as though I'm a metronome, counting my breathing. Okay. My exhale and inhale. Okay. And I do a lot of that and you can't really tell that I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I could be in the car, and I've been doing this lately a lot while I'm driving, actually, you know, breathing and counting, and, you know, and really, really being cognizant of my exhale and inhale.
Okay.
I just think that if you can control the breath, you extend your life.
Yeah.
So, you know, if we're breathing, I've talked about that, you know, and the yoga people seem to not really get that as a part of an extended study that extends off the mat.
Yeah. So all right. So we're gonna keep moving through your day.
Okay.
So
that's a big part of my day, man.
Okay.
Is breathing. I need to get more on the mat, though. I have to admit, I need to.
You got the contemplation, breathing. Now, so what's next? I mean, do you do any stretching or exercise? Is your enema first?
Well, I always, you know, I'm kind of like, I do the stretches. I kind of call it the extent of my exercise right now, and I'm actually really in transition of really going into some other kind of stuff. But the extent of what I do, I call it my keep myself in shape to knock a motherfucker out.
Yeah, that's very loving. It's very loving.
I mean, that's the only way I can describe it, and I'm not trying to, you know, but I mean, you know, when we go out and when we're busting, street performing, you just never know who you're running into, man, and you're just out there like that, man. So you know, if somebody put their hands on you in a real negative manner, so you know, so that's the kind of stuff I do every morning. I stretch. I'm still, you know, push up, sit up type of guy. And I got the trampoline. I turned you on to the trampoline. Mm-hmm. You went and got one. And
yeah.
And, you know, so the trampoline is real big for me. I like doing that. So that's about the extent, the trampoline, the health rider. I need to be doing something, man. You know, I've been thinking about the basketball, because I used to hoop, man. Like up until I was about 40, I was hooping with the baddest hoopers in Cincinnati. Right. You know, I was going to the hole, and I mean, that used to keep me, you know. But I was, you know, injuring myself, and then the people got crazy and started pulling guns out of it. You know, I mean, the game got too serious. And I just, you know, I don't, but I'm thinking about, I got a ball, and I was thinking about just going on a court by myself and just running up and down the court, shooting layups, jumpers, just exercising that way, because I used to love to do that in terms of exercise. Yeah. So that, and I got a bike. Okay. That I used to ride, and it's just been sitting, and so I'm going through a transition about thinking about, as they say, cardio. You know, some kind of, you know, but yeah, I do my normal just stretches, you know, every day, and box in front of a mirror for about 5 minutes, you know.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So that's
that.
So
that's So we got a nap in the morning, a nap, then period.
Call it a
period
nap,
of to recap. So we got a nap, period of contemplation, which probably moves into breath work and observing the breath. Yeah. Then we have a stretching and exercise and mini trampoline and whatever, you know, you in the mood to do at that point.
And I'm not doing that that exercising for like an hour, I mean, that might be all within 15 minutes, man, 20 minutes. I mean, I'm not doing a lot. It's just enough.
Just
Just
you get
enough
the
to keep me
circulation.
moving.
Yes,
Yeah,
you get it circulating and stuff. So okay, so
and I
next,
should do it more, but I'm just talking about trying to. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle just to try to be mucusless in a mucus and pus environment. It's just a struggle, man. And so to get in all these things and to, I mean, just the thought, just your thought process, man, it just weighs you down sometime, man. When you're going through a cleanse and thoughts are running through your mind, man, of all kind of visionary and at some point, just the craziest, like acid type of thinking, you'd be like, where'd that come from, so.
So all right, so next I'm going to take a guess. Is that the lemon enema time? Is that?
No, I normally will, I'm talking about during the eating period. I normally will eat, like today was watermelon. And I can't eat like when I wake up. I got to have at least a couple of hours.
Okay, so you get your couple hours, and so you basically have the fruit breakfast option that Aaron has in the Mucusless Diet book.
Always fruit. The first thing I eat every day is always fruit. It's never that never changed. I'm not gonna wake up and eat waffles.
Well, of course not.
Pancakes, and stuff like that. I mean, people do that who call themselves healthy. I hear about that kind of, it's a vegan breakfast now, but it's still, but your fruit is, basically, that's it, just fruit. So I had fruit. What did I have? I had a banana, I had watermelon, and I had a peach. So that's what I had. and I'm still existing on that right now. So I haven't had anything else, and I probably won't until later.
Now, so if you have an early fruit breakfast, how long after that will you have your first enema of the day?
Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of let it kind of digest, I guess. And
I mean, you have a bowel movement first?
Normally I'm having bowel movement even before the enema. I mean, even before the fruit. So when I wake up, so like today I've had 3 bowel movements before I did my enema.
Okay.
So a lot of people wonder about that. Like, I remember this one lady said, I was telling her about doing enemas. So she just assumed, she said, oh, so you just do your enemas for bowel movements. Like I'm not having natural bowel movements anymore. I'm just using my enemas now as my bowel movement.
Right, which is
I had 3 bowel movements already before I did an enema today.
And that's some good information there, folks, because I always tell people, do a natural bowel movement, then do your enema, where people think that, we're like, well, we're getting enemas. Like, nah, there's a system to it. But again, that just goes back to studying. Just study the system.
Well,
Aaron talks about that.
The system dictates, and it lets me see that's a signal for me that I am still staying on a correct transition. Because if I don't have those 2 to 3 bowel movements, even before I eat my fruit, it's something wrong.
Right.
I mean, that's where I'm really looking at, and so that's just a signal that I'm on the system, and everything is A-okay.
So,
so we need to really understand that is that's a part of the transition, is knowing that your bowels are moving like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the transition, because that's how you learn how to temper the transition.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna back off of this, I'm gonna do this a little more, you have to really, I treat the transition like a fine-tooth comb, man. Like I'm playing a Stradivarius violin, man. I treat the transition very, very passionately and artfully.
Yeah,
man. So
so we got that. So that's super. That's real good information, because that's something that I don't think you've talked about before on all of our stuff. Just that detail right there of you have 2 to 3 bowel movements before you have your enema, which will happen. What would you say, between 11 and 1 p.m. Because oftentimes that's when me and Brother Air will have a conference during his enema time, and we'll be talking on the phone. And,
for some reason, you like to call me around that time.
Well, it's because over the years,
I'd be like, man, I'm doing my enema right now. We're talking, and you hear me like, ooh.
And even if, sometimes I'll think I'm waiting long enough. I'm like, okay, well, he probably did it at 11 or 12. Now I know why, because when you're eating, if you don't do it as early as you do when you're not, when you're fasting. So now I understand that. Yeah. But okay, so you do the enema, and which and you've talked a lot about that, but just I guess just describe your ritual real quick.
My enema ritual?
Yeah, you just juice. You use because you use
my bag. My bag is pretty much. I kind of rinse. My bag is clean, so I'm just basically I get my little space together. I get my my little scents going or whatever, and then I go in, rinse out my bag really good again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've already cleaned it, but I'm just, so squeeze my lemons, heat it up into the bag, lubricate, the tip of the anal attachment, lay down. I got maybe some music or maybe a lecture going on, on the internet or something that I'm checking out, and rub my abdomen and that's something that I really want to emphasize, is that I still rub my abdomen for about 2 to 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't go through that for like 20 seconds or 10 seconds.
Right.
I still rub my abdomen for at least 2 minutes. Just getting that. And I'm telling you, it's the difference. It's the difference when you do that. You get everything ready, and your intestines and it accepts that that fluid a little better. I think it makes it go farther and farther up. Because a lot of people try to talk about enemas, just do the lower intestines. Just do the lower intestine if you constipated.
Right, if you super clogged up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But, I've had enemas, especially when I was doing 30 and 40 lemons, man. I had enemas come out of my mouth, man.
Yeah, which we have to tell people we don't say that's what you supposed to have to do.
No, I was into some heavy lemons. Now I do between 4 and 10.
Yeah.
The day I did 4 actually.
Okay.
Only reason I did that.
And you use the citrus. You still use the citrus juicer, right?
Yeah, yeah. Just cut them in half. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm done.
Yeah, yeah. And you get
And
it.
so I used 4 lemons, half and half,
Mm.
distilled water. Got a nice little heat going, and my heat might be hotter than most.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
nice
yeah.
and
My heat
hot.
might be hotter than
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
hot warm. I call it.
Yeah. Okay.
Not hot boiling, because you couldn't put anything up
No.
your anal like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it is probably hotter than most people would do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because my intestines are are used to it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's used to it, and I can hold it in, and then I hold it in. I hold it in for. I mean, and you gotta understand, like, sometimes you have things to do, so you might be on a schedule. Sometimes you're not on such a schedule, so it just depends on how long I hold it in.
Right.
I can literally hold. Well, today I held it in for about 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then, because I knew I had to get to you.
Right.
I was like, oh man, dang, this time is moving like a mug.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, did that, eliminated, got it all in one squeeze, because I hold my enema bag in my hand and I squeeze it,
yeah,
like a power washer.
Yeah. That's what I'm starting to set records where I can get a whole bag in like 10 seconds. I'm just like,
just boom, and then you like get it all in, and then you can hold it. And so I did that today. Sometimes I have to do it twice, or depending on the lemons and how fresh the lemons are and that acid. But today I got everything in, held it in. I stood on my head too, because I knew I was gonna be talking, so I wanted to
get to
I wanted to try to get a little clearer.
Yeah,
so I stood on my head for about 5 minutes and held it in, and then I eliminated.
Yeah, all right.
That was it. Yeah.
Okay. So now when is the next time in the day when you would probably eat something, and what will it be?
Well, I pretty much know I'm gonna eat some Brussels sprouts.
Okay.
Because I got some Brussels sprouts and I wasn't able to eat them yesterday because we was doing our piece yesterday.
Right.
And I didn't want to go through. I got a way of sautéing them that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the time. I was like, I'm kind of not into it right now. So I'm eating the dinner that I was gonna have yesterday. I'm eating that today. So that's gonna be Brussels sprouts. I got some broccoli. I'm actually planning on going out and bust, depending on the weather.
Now you do that with a salad?
No.
Okay, so you be eating them just without the salad.
Without the salad.
Okay, that's interesting.
It depends. I mean, you asking me today? No, I wasn't planning on a salad, but maybe I might do a salad now since you suggested it. But no, I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Speaking of salad, that's what I had yesterday afternoon before we hooked up.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
that's why I didn't feel so adamant about it, because it was a big. I mean, it was big.
Yeah.
It was big, and I actually cut up some cabbage.
Okay.
With the red leaf lettuce, which I seldom do that, but I had the cabbage and I didn't want to see it spoil. And I didn't think I was gonna cook it. I was like, I'm gonna cut this up like coleslaw, and I had my little whole food organic olives that I made a special trip to get, so I did that, and I like doing salads with not too much vegetables in it, like how people use tomatoes, this and this and that. Sometimes I just like the red leaf lettuce and something very simple, like just wild onions.
Yeah.
Just that or something,
Yeah.
and just go for it like that. And, so no, I wasn't planning on.
Okay. Yeah,
but my saute is so not cooked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my trick to that is I get the pan like burning,
mm-hmm.
like almost like hot coals, I get the pan like that. So as soon as I put a little bit of I actually got this cranberry. Was it cranberry oil? Some kind of some sister gave me this and told me to check this out. So I just smear it. I just smear it on. I don't never. It just smears on to where nothing won't stick, basically.
Yeah.
And then it's so hot that once I put that down, like the garlic. I'm a big garlic guy, like a lot of garlic. And so once I put that down, man, maybe a minute.
Yeah.
And then I'll take that off, and then I might steam me some, because I always do it separately, man. A lot of times I'll do that separately with the Brussels sprouts. I just, loads of still water, and I'll steam them. And, so, that's what I was planning on. But that might change. That might change today.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting because, because the one thing that the one principle that I've always, that I never ever deviated from is always have a raw salad with every vegetable meal. I can't think of a vegetable meal in the past 16 years that didn't have a salad. Maybe I might have had one or two meals in the past 16 years where I didn't have a raw salad as a part of the overall vegetable meal. Because it always just helps it eliminate, if I, that raw salad.
I mean, that was the custom. That's always, out of 7 days, I might have a salad 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of like I got into just these, I got this bowl and I fill it up, man, with like the Brussels sprout and broccoli. And I just got into that. I was like, man, this is, with the sauteed wild onions and raw wild onions. I actually like them raw and sauteed.
Yeah.
And bell, a couple of different colors of bell pepper and garlic and celery and all that kind of stuff. And that just, that just knocks me out. And I don't like my lettuce to touch anything hot.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I didn't like that. I was like, I don't like my, and I wasn't going to wait for it to cool down a lot of times. I try to, and I'm nipping. I'm like, I eat a little bit. I eat, look at the next thing I know, it's all gone.
Well, my thing is if I'm doing something like that, like a saute kind of thing or steaming something, then I always time it up, and my timing is impeccable now because I can, whatever's being prepared, while that's being prepared, I can throw the salad together, and then it all kind of gets done at the same time, and then I always start eating the salad first. I try to eat about, I would say at least 30%, 25 to 30% of the salad before I touch anything that's cooked, if I'm dealing with some cooked stuff.
I just do not want anything touching my salad, as far as something hot. I don't,
So okay, so that's interesting. And then after that, it's just kind of what's after that. You might be practicing or going out to play.
I'm doing some playing or going out. I'm getting back late, and I've been on these Mingo, which I shouldn't even mention. My son might be in the house and he'll know I have them. He'll eat them all, and then I get home looking for my Mingo slices. That's my little suck. I suck on them like remember old wine candy? So that's my little, suck on my wine candy. And dates. Yeah, so that's what I've been into lately is the mango slices, all natural, like all natural mango slices. So that's like my little get full on them, suck on them. And then I might, I might do another salad.
Yeah.
And yeah, I might do another salad. Fix something up like that. Just depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm just dragged, if I'm kind of, yeah, I don't really obsess with the eating thing like that.
Yeah, just you do what you feel,
I go without. Sometimes I would want something to eat, and then my better judgment is like, I'm not gonna eat. I'll find something else to do.
Right.
So I do that a lot, and that's what's leading me up to starting this new fast. Is that I have been skipping a lot of meals, and that's kind of like my sign.
Yeah.
That
it's almost time for a little.
It's almost time to fast.
Yeah. And for those of you that's watching on the YouTube live or played back, this is a clip. You can find it on the Professor Spira YouTube channel. This is something from several years ago where Brother Ayers.
Oh, that was a while ago.
It was a while ago, wasn't it? Because that's up at the infamous levee. But yeah, that's just to give you a visual when we talk about Brother Air plays music on the street. Of course, I play music on the street. His son, that's Baby Baba G, with his wonderful back to the camera. He was in a mood. He was in a mood. But this is so Brother Air's talking about fasting and eating in the Mucusless diet, classic Mucusless diet type of methodology we talking about, and he's doing this every night, playing music. And sometimes, playing music hours. I mean, we won't get into the practice, but you might practice 3 hours a day, and then go out and play when you can, when the time is there, and then you go out and you doing this for hours because you do these marathons. See, and this is what I want people to understand when we talk about the just the concept of people doing all these things when they're fasting. That's supposed to, where they're riding their bike across the nation or doing all this kind of things or weightlifting and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is remarkable to do what Brother Air does in terms of the fasting and mucus-free living, all that kind of stuff. And the energy that he has when he goes out here and he's doing this for hours. He's not out here for 1 hour, 2 hours. He'll go out here constantly, day after day after day, for hours doing this. And so the kind of energy that takes, so that's for us, that's our doing 400-pound bench press, doing a fast. That's our running a 4-minute mile, because take any of those folks and let's see them do this. Let's see all these athlete type of people. Can you play? Can you play music on a high level, on a world class level?
And you're talking about not eating. See, they're eating.
Right.
That's the one thing is they're eating.
Yeah.
And because
when we recorded this,
so-called
folks,
calories and vitamins to do those kind of marathons and to do that. And so what the Mucusless diet has really taught me is that word vitality. This is real vitality.
Right.
This is no fake vitality. This is real vitality. And you see all that equipment.
Yeah.
And I put that in a wagon and walked
Walked for about two
miles.
2 miles. Yeah.
With all that equipment myself. No
Right.
help.
Yeah. Yeah.
After you get done.
Right. Right. You put all this heavy equipment, because he lives about 2 miles from this location. So he would put all this stuff in the cart, in a wagon, and walk it. And part of that walk is up a hill.
Yeah.
And so
and you see my son. You say, well, your son was with you. You see, my son's bike was sitting there.
Yeah, he came separately. He didn't walk. He didn't even walk up. Yeah.
So he didn't bring those kungas, and he didn't bring So it's like some of the things, man, are just incredible, and reinforces my attitude about keeping up with the mucusless diet. I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm sold on the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I think it's the best thing that has been exposed. It's greater than the Bible.
Yeah.
The book is, and the book and what it turns you on to in terms of your physiology is greater than any of the Bibles, Qurans, any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm talking about the the value of information in terms of living your life.
Mm-hmm.
The Mucusless Diet Healing System book is better than all of the Torahs. And I know people are, but I'm telling you, what that information turns you on to is, because you can just read the Bible and just kind of think what you want to think.
Yeah.
This is a system of how to eliminate constipation, create a certain living vitality for yourself, cleaning parasites, changing and reconstructing your bloodstream.
Yeah.
The Torahs, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, that don't have that kind of information in there. This is like some real hands-on type of information that you can see if you practice it.
Yeah. Operative word, practice.
If you diligently practice,
you
can change your life, and then when you start to read the Quran and the Torahs, I've read all of them, man. Torahs, twice, 3 or 4 times. I mean, I was into that stuff. I was trying to seek truth.
Yeah.
Little did I know that the truth that I was seeking was based on the blood inside of me either being clean or filthy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man.
That information was not in the Torahs and the Bibles and the Qurans, but the one thing that I would say is that the references of blood was always there in all of those texts, but you never could understand what the connection, like, it's like the thread. It's a thread that threads through, the thread of truth threads through there, through those books, but you're so constipated you never make the connection.
Right. Yeah. That's it, man. And
you never make the connection, and through Arnold Eric's work, you can make the connection of now. Okay, you can read the Bible, and you can make the connections, and you can look at different consciousness through the Bible as you get from Genesis to all the different books. You can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
different consciousness.
yeah.
You can see it. You be like, wait a minute, this is a different consciousness of person who's writing here versus this cat who's writing here.
Yeah.
You gotta, you gotta look at things like that, man. And so with the mucusless diet, things become very clear, and you are not so exhausted so that you can't think.
Right.
That's what the Bibles do, is they prey on you being exhausted and tired of thinking. So they prey on that kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just tired. I'm just looking, most people, they're going through things. Oh, I'm just tired. I'm gonna give myself to the Lord.
Right.
I'm tired of thinking. Which is just, tired of living. That's what it is.
Right.
And you haven't lived. You're tired of dying,
Yeah.
You haven't lived. You're tired of dying. And so you get so frustrated with so then you start to read the Bibles and the Torahs, and you think, and you're sitting there with your stomach hanging over your belt, but you can remember every scripture memory wise, but you can't make no sense of what's going on here.
Yeah. And that might be good for a future episode where we get into some of that. Get into some of these stories, and
I love to make
because that needs more time. That needs an entire at least that might need several things.
You notice we never talk about God and Lord and Creator and all like that, because it doesn't really necessarily mean what you believe in or what I believe in. We just know that those subjects in the past have created wars, amongst people.
Right.
So we stay away from that, regardless of what Professor Spira believes, his deity is, or Brother Air. What we always say, it don't need your validation, what we believe in.
Yeah.
All you can see, and people talk about, well, you can't judge people. Yes, you can judge people. That's how you choose your friends. You
learn,
them.
Choose who you associate with. That,
how you gonna know? Well, you can't judge. The hell if I can't judge you?
Right. Good judgment. That's foundation of a good life. Learning those details. So all right. So we're gonna take a break real quick. When we come back, we are going to talk a little bit with Brother Air about his early years, since that's what was listed on the thing. But I wanted to get into his routine, and a couple people said that they liked hearing about that in the chat, which is cool. And I might, one of these times, maybe next week, the next podcast, I'll get a little bit into my routine, because I'm doing some interesting things. I think if I don't say so myself, it's some stuff that's because my routine's different from Brother Air's, and as I always talk about, everybody's routine and situation is gonna be different, but the principles are the same. I'm applying the same principles that Brother Air's applying, but my routine and the way that I apply them is different. And so I will talk about that at a later date. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna play a little music, and then we'll be back. We'll have a little segment with Doc Dockery. He'll come in. Do you remember? Brother Air remembers Doc Dockery's back. So he's gonna come in and do a couple news stories. He's the mucus-free journalist that we have on board, and so we will be back shortly. Let me queue up. So what I'm gonna play here is this is going to be from Arid Day. This is hold on a second. Let me get this up. So this is, I'm calling this Dear Dr. Arid. This was actually a cover of a poem that was written and recorded by Charles Lloyd, and I actually put that on the station. If you look at our YouTube channel here, Professor Spira YouTube channel, you can find the original version, but this was our version that we did at last year's Arid Day celebration. Check it out.
Dr. Arid, thanks for the word. It has made my heart. When I fall asleep at night, all of my dreams in sight, secret peace. Dr. Arid, why did you go? This old world needs you so. 2,000 years. Man, he lives in fear. Oh no. Lettuce and fruit will do you. Little lettuce and fruit will do you. Little lettuce and fruit will soothe you. Dear Guru Dava, thanks for the word. It has filled my heart.
Do you ever wake up in the morning feeling bad? I mean really bad? Blowing your nose and coughing up green slime bad? What if I told you that the foods you eat are causing mucus to back up in your body? The good news is this waste can be eliminated naturally. Discover the simplest and most powerful natural lifestyle secret that has improved the lives of thousands. Professor Arnold Ehret's Mucusless Diet Healing System, annotated, revised, and edited by Professor Spira, is a complete course for those who desire to take their health into their own hands. You will learn how to naturally get rid of that annoying stuffy nose, soothe your nasty cough, melt away unwanted body fat, prevent dangerous health issues, and heal yourself of painful illnesses. Where are my real brothers and sisters at? You think you're hard? You think you're a revolutionary? Then you got to be talking about health. Learning to control what you put into your mouth is the most revolutionary thing you can do. Check out the book that inspired Dr. Sebi, Lila Africa, and many others. Visit www.mucus-free-life.com/revised-mucusless-diet to get your copy today while supplies last.
Hi, my name is Kristen Oviedo, and I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. I take care of my son who's 2 years old. His name is Logan, and we live here in Houston, Texas. I was so excited when I found out that Professor Spira was going to be releasing an e-course for the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I actually bought it as a birthday gift to myself. The e-course goes through Arnold Ehret's book, lesson by lesson. You get the reading materials with the audio files, and then Professor Spira teaches each lesson to you. He also gives you a quiz at the end to see how much you paid attention, and gives you additional readings, additional videos to watch. So you literally could spend hours on doing the e-course. And what I love about it is I can really do it on my time.
Hi, my name is Michael Adam Fathauer. I currently live just outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My current profession is the commercial construction industry. I am currently enrolled with the e-course. I'm about halfway through. The beauty of the e-course is that you can work through it at your own pace. I would highly recommend the e-course because if you think you read the book, The Mucusless Diet Healing System, if you think you read it and grasped it, that's good. It does help to go through a study. Professor Spira has taken the e-course and he digests the information really well and makes a really fun, interactive platform for learning. So if you're a visual learner, he has visuals, videos, pictures. If you're an audible learner and you learn by listening, you can also listen.
My name is Autumn Queen, and I live in Stone Mountain, Georgia. The Mucusless Diet Healing System e-course is a combination of videos, quizzes, reading assignments that covers the whole entire book. It teaches you everything you thought you knew while reading it, but the e-course kind of amplifies it. It explains all of the little questions that I have. It was just explained to me in detail through the e-course, and it just everything made sense.
The e-course thoroughly covers all of the concepts and the principles of the book, and what is so cool is Professor Spira has lived it. He lives by the same principles, and so when he talks he's teaching from experience. Some of the things I really like about the e-course are when I'm listening to Professor Spira teach each lesson, it really feels like I'm sitting in his classroom, and I really like his teaching style and his commentaries. The other thing is that the course allows you to do it at your own pace. You can do it at on your own schedule. For me, it's really great. I can actually also do it on my phone.
Well, what I like about Professor Spira's PowerPoint presentations, for instance, his introduction to the Mucusless Diet Healing System, or about the fasting, is that it is broken down very simply, and it's technical, but it's also just very practical information. So it just helps it to keep things clear and simple. I like things that are clear and simple and easy to understand, because our bodies overall, all these complicated systems, they do work very simply if we take care of it, our bodies. So he helps to understand our bodies.
Because of the method he used in the e-course, there's things I thought I knew or things that I had forgotten. And now with the imagery and the interaction I have with the e-course, some of these basics cannot leave my memory. I just can't forget about them because I had a fun interaction with them, and I'm still working through the e-course now.
All right, brothers and sisters, this is Professor Spira back at you, and we will have Brother Air back on in a few moments. But first, I want to have a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, by a gentleman by the name of Doc Dockery. He likes to go and find news items for us. He's a great journalist, so we're going to turn it over to Doc Dockery, and he is going to give us a little bit of his Bizarro World headline news. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Doc Dockery. and you are plugged into Bizarro World headline news. Walmart sells graduation cakes to mom without telling her it's styrofoam. Well, this takes the cake. A woman in Pasadena, Texas is really frosted at her local Walmart after the store's employees goofed up an order for graduation cake by giving her one made out of styrofoam. Marcel Florals ordered a cake from the retailer last week to celebrate the high school graduation of her daughter, and she said that this is my baby, and she was graduating, so it was very important to me. But things crumbled when she went to the store to pick up the cake. It seemed that the Walmart bakery had lost her order and didn't have anything, and the store manager told Flores to choose any cake from one of the ones that was ready to go. The bakers then added a cap and gown to it and gave it to her. But wouldn't you know it, it was made of styrofoam. And Walmart says that it was just a big misunderstanding, as you do. The Air Force officials say that penis-shaped chemtrails were unintentional. Things came to a head after numerous social media posts pointed out the resemblance of the chemtrails to the male sex organ. U.S. Air Force officials say their pilots did not intentionally draw male anatomy with aircraft chemtrails in the skies above Phoenix area. Photos taken of a series of sky ovals near Luke Air Force Base have circulated on social media, and some say that the shapes resemble male genitalia. And finally, in a heartwarming story, a cow squirts projectile poop on a farmer, and the farmer says, "I didn't even stand a chance." An Iowa dairy farmer recently got blasted by a geyser of feces from one of his cows while he was cleaning the stall. Carter Kilberg made light of the projectile poop, tweeting last week that he was standing in the line of fire and didn't even stand a chance. Typical Monday, he wrote. He also thanked God that his mouth wasn't open, as he only gets into that kind of thing on Tuesdays. And this has been Bizarro World Headline News. But before you go, here, check this out. Bizarro World Headline News is brought to you by Doc Dockery's 23.5-day Master Meat and Raw Pig's Blood Cleanse. It's a way to recharge, rejuvenate, and renew the body. Anybody can benefit from the Master Meat and Raw Pig's Blood Cleanse. It's a way to jumpstart your body for a more active, healthy, and natural life. There's no vacuum or mop needed for this little housekeeping ritual. It means eating as much protein-rich raw meat as you like, and drinking at least 2 liters of fresh pig's blood per day. It's so easy and so tasty. But what about children? I hear some of you mothers saying, "Mother, please." Children and even babies can follow this magical cleanse. The Wizard of Dr. Oz gave Doc Dockery's 23.5-day Master Meat and Raw Pig's Blood Cleanse 2.5 thumbs up. Friends, you'll flip over this cleanse.
Doc Dockery's 23.5-day Master Meat and Raw Pig's Blood Cleanse may increase suicidal thoughts or actions in some children, teenagers, or young adults within the first few days of treatment. Depression and other serious mental illnesses are the most important causes of suicidal thoughts or actions. Male patients drinking raw pig's blood have often experienced erectile dysfunction. If an erection lasts more than 3 hours, you're doing it wrong, and you are encouraged to talk to your doctor. Pig blood is not approved for the treatment of vegan babies.
So what are you waiting for? Brother, get out of that Benz. Sister, put in your contact lens, because friends, you'll flip over this cleanse.
On 5.
All right, brothers and sisters, that was a very enlightening dose of Mr. Doc Dockery, and so I hope you were able to hear that okay. Let's see. Yes, styrofoam is mucus-free indeed. So let's bring Brother Air back on here to finish up our little discussion.
Peace.
Yes.
Doc Dockery, man. But that cat, man, where's that cat been?
Hey, he's, yeah. You know, he's been been working.
Boy.
Been getting a lot of stuff done. I think he's just a masterful journalist, and
and he's a real doctor. So.
Oh man, I mean he's just
real certified, got all the papers.
Yeah, a fascinating man, and sometime we will get a little bit more into Doc and see behind the cover, behind the scenes of Doc Dockery there. I don't know if you're ready. Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for that. So let's talk a little bit about just, not super extended. We'll just want to hit on some of the things that you did early on in your practice in the Mucusless diet that's different from now. And we won't talk as much about how you got into the diet, because you've talked about that a lot and that whole process of the book and what you did before the diet. So we won't get into that. I'm interested in, say, 6 months in, you read the book and you started doing the practicing Mucusless Diet Healing System. What did that day look like? What was your routine back then as compared to now?
All right, well, sleep. I was probably sleeping, 4, 5, 6 hours at that point, very constipated, playing music all the time, man, on the road, hanging out, trying to get all the drugs out of my system. That was pretty much what that period was about, was, okay, I want to clean myself up. I'm reading this stuff. And at that point, everything ceased as far as my reading. I was just reading that. and everything I was connected with that at that point. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this.
About the drug,
I'm going to get on this transition.
Yeah. So were you going through... it kind of, if you can remember, talk about some of the withdrawal symptoms that you was going through, because I know you had did drugs before the Mucusless diet, you was kind of into cocaine kind of thing. What was that like? Kind of just your early detox period, like detox in the true sense of the word.
Yeah, well, doing the fleece enemas, because I was hip to enemas, but I didn't know no better. I would buy the fleece enemas, and they would have the oil in them, and I would walk around with an oil patch on my ass, It looked like
the oil patch.
Yeah, man. It was like it was seeping out onto my pants. And
I know. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I would have a big old oil stain. I didn't know it.
That's unfortunate, but right.
But I was doing my enemas, man. They had a saline solution, and then they had an oil-based solution, and I was using the oil-based. And so, going through that and switching up the diet was pretty much a big plate of vegetables and salad. Beans were like the transition for me. It wasn't like pasta and all that stuff. Even though I would check it out every now and then just to change up, but not really. I was I was beans, black-eyed peas, and pretty much pretty much the same stuff without the beans now.
Okay.
I was always in the sauteing, and the onions and the bell peppers and stuff. I was I could figure out how to make stuff because I could cook. I could, even when I was eating chicken and steak and stuff, I would lay it out, with all kind of vegetables, dishes and things like that. But now, I'm getting off of dairy. That was my last thing that I struggled with was dairy.
Yeah.
So, I'm not doing it now. I'm
right.
Okay. And I'm driving past a Dunkin' Donuts or a Deli Donut, and I would stop the car and get out and just go in and stand in front of the glass case full of donuts and just look at them. And and the lady there would be, can I help you? And I'd be like, give me some time. And I just stand there and look at them, man.
Yeah,
that's like I was eating them. And then I would turn around and walk out.
And that's man, and I don't hear Casby talking about that, because that's the real transition and the real addiction and dealing with it.
I had to get in there and smell it.
You smell it.
Not eat it, but I could see it and imagine myself biting into a glazed donut. I love glazed donuts and twisters. And so I went through that. That lasted about, maybe 2 years. I was doing that every, not often, but every, I'll go into, we got a local bakery here that's like a dynasty, which is Buskin's Bake Shop. And so whenever I was over in that area, I would stop in and just stand there and look, at all the danishes and the glazed donuts and the jelly. I was a jelly donut nut,
Yeah.
And so I'd sit there and they would come up, man, can I help you? Just give me some time.
Just just let me.
I'd just be staring, eating in my brain, eating in my mind. I would, be eating that stuff in my mind. I would be sitting there, like I'm chewing on it and eating it and digesting and swallowing. Okay, I've had enough. Okay, I'll turn around and leave. Did that, man. And just, weird. That's like weirdo shit,
Yeah, but that's some advanced. I look at that as those are kind of the secret techniques, because I did the same thing but it wasn't on jelly donuts. I would be, there was a couple times I walk into Casano's, it's a pizza joint. That was my favorite pizza, and I walk in there and just sit there and kind of smell, or I stand outside smelling it, it just kind of, and it's an interesting elimination, because it actually, when you're still in that Pavlovian type of experience with that food, you feel it in your stomach. So just getting in, smelling it, getting in close proximity to it, the stomach starts getting ready, like, here we go. And then so you let the stomach do that, and every time that you do that and then leave it and don't succumb to the to it, you're totally retraining your body, mind, and spirit all at once. With that type of thing. And if you even take it to the next, because what I did a lot was, I had the benefit of having advanced enema information early on with Brother Air, who had already kind of gone through that. So if I was craving meat or dairy or something like that, I was having a big craving period, I'd go and get me like 10 or 12 lemons, juice them, rind and all, and that was the end of that craving. So I dealt with it like that, and you get to a point where you get on the other end of that. And so Yeah, so that's real interesting. So yeah, the Buskin Bakery, you used to go down there, you'd be standing in there.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I would do that a lot, you know. And but I got through it, and I never crossed the line as far as ordering some donuts and eating them. I stayed strong through all that.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if you was doing it that today, if you would have gotten into some of them vegan donuts and and kind of succumb to that.
The vegan donuts came into a picture when my son was born.
Yeah.
And I was me and my wife were trying to figure out some stuff. And I had to be really mindful of who he comes out of.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to temper his transition based on who he was.
Right.
You can't take a child on this real tough transition, and you got to remember, where he comes from. And so, he got into those and he would look at me, man, and he'd be like, try one, man. I was always tempted, just like the potato thing, with my wife when she was pregnant. There's always that temptress,
Yeah. That tempting. That mind game of like, what would happen if I did eat that?
So I'll get into it. I'll have one with you. Okay, I'll check it out. And the thing is though, I always say this, is that when you have bad days like that, make sure you do your enemas. And that's where I always was very consistent. I'm very consistent with, 30 years of doing my enemas. I've rarely missed a day. In 30 years, So that was always my but I never used it as a crutch to say, I'm going to just go off and I'll do my enema.
Right.
I'm going to just eat all this crap and I'll do my enema. I'm all right. No, I never. I always kept I always was very cognizant of that, but I would look at it sometimes as though, I never went into anything thinking that I was just going to go off and then tomorrow I'm going to cleanse. No, I went into something accidentally, like, damn, I ate that, you know what I mean? Like, man, I ate that. And
you also had the technique of, if you got into something that was within the realm of transitional usage, but not good, but in the realm of transitional usage, you just eat it, just wear it out.
What a transition was. That's the thing, is to understand exactly what transitioning is.
Yeah.
Not like making up some stuff and saying, I'm just gonna eat this and eat, this is my transition. No. When your transition is at a real transitional state, when that, you be like, now this is a transition. So I learned how to go with it. I know sooner or later I'm gonna be done with this.
Right.
But right now I gotta see this one out, because this drug ain't gonna be shaken. You ain't gonna be able to shake this easy.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to shake this one easy.
Right.
All that mental, I'm strong and I'm no, not with this one. The blood is too infected with this with this substance, so you gotta do this scientifically now. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. But but I got to go with it. You know, I got to go with this. And but the key there is just stay consistent.
Yeah.
Just got to stay consistent with the cleanse, man. This is what it's all about, the cleanse.
Yeah. So picking up there, so go back to what else were you doing? So we got the busking technique.
Oh man.
We'll name it that, the busking technique.
I wasn't just going over that period. I was juicing a lot.
Okay.
That was my real key. And just remembering, I was juicing for long periods then. That for some reason I had the propensity to juice long periods of time, which I thought was long periods of time, like for a month. You know.
Yeah.
I could just juice, but now at this point, I'm juicing from the juicer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not drinking anything. I mean, I got to a point where I wasn't drinking anything, nothing store-bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just juicing, and I would, go long periods of time with fruit juice and vegetable juices.
Right. You had the juice man juicer.
Yeah, juice man juicer. Yeah.
And so now, what was the prices like back then? Like what was that looking like in terms of were you getting cases
that was like
of
maybe
stuff?
About $39, $49 then.
For what?
Yeah, for the juice man juicer.
Oh no! Oh yeah! No, I'm talking about the actual fruit and stuff, vegetables that you was juicing.
Oh man!
You buying? How were you buying?
I could get a case of lemons for like $7-8.
Yeah,
a case of lemons with 165 lemons in it.
What about But what were the other things you were juicing? Was it like apples or oranges?
Yeah, pineapples, apples, oranges, strawberries, purple grapes.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of purple grapes. Purple grapes were like, man, you could get. For $5, man, you could just get a load of everything.
Yeah. The
$5, So you were good, man. If you spent $10, man, you really got you straight for a while.
Yeah.
So
the days of grape juice and roses.
Yeah, for real. So I was doing a lot of that juice, and that's what really kind of helped me with my sweet tooth.
Mm-hmm.
If I wouldn't have had that juicing, I probably would have been trying to invent some vegan lemon meringue pie or something.
Yeah.
So
now what about veg? Were you
I'm getting that feedback, that echo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. What about now? Is it going?
Yeah, I think it is.
All right.
Yep.
So what about vegetables? Were you juicing vegetables? Doing the green juices and stuff?
Only vegetables I really juiced was carrots. Carrots, apples, beets, garlic, parsley.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't into juicing a lot of the other stuff, man. Like I hear a lot of people juicing a lot of different vegetables. I didn't. I stayed. The vegetable was of a juice for me was carrot. That was the base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to give people historical context, that's of the day in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
the carrot juice was kind of like that was the whole piece. A lot of cats was into that. That was all the juice people, Gershon type of stuff, And so so that's of the era.
The juicers were designed for that kind of use.
Yeah.
As you grow on, you have different juicers now with all kind of different. But yeah, for the carrots, boom, carrot, apples, things like that.
What about celery?
I would use some celery on some things, but mainly, the only vegetable juice I really drunk anytime was my that colon cleanse
Mm-hmm.
with the beets, the parsley,
Yeah.
cucumber, garlic, apple, carrot.
Yeah.
That was really my only vegetable juice I really drunk. That that was pretty much it for me on vegetables. I was a fruit cat.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
my thing for juicing was really about the fruit. I
Uh,
would just get the vegetable out the way. Like that would always be my first thing of the day.
Okay.
It was always a vegetable juice.
Okay. And that's interesting. It's good to know.
Yeah.
So
But
you
then the juice, but then the fruit juices were coming. I mean, they were, you know.
So would you do? So how frequently would you juice?
Oh, I would
How
juice
many,
at that
like,
time. I
every-
might juice 4 or 5 times a day.
Yeah, just like every couple hours.
Maybe it depends on my schedule. When I, just depend.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in a room or something, man, and I'm there the rest of the night, I might juice
And you
2-3 times a day.
And you would be, and you did a lot of traveling back then, didn't you? So you was taking.
Yeah. I had my cooler and I had my juicer in a little case. I had this real nice little kind of, I don't know, it seemed like that little case was handmade for my juicer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a cooler that I would just fill with everything, from ice to whatever, and all kind of vegetables and all kind of fruit. And that was, and people got real upset, man, when you bringing that on buses and stuff.
Right.
But I was like, man, this is, I'm not stopping at what's the places that you can stop on going up and down the expressway, the Barrel, what is it?
Truck stop and well, you talking about Cracker Barrel
and all those places, and everybody I was with would do that. I mean, they would just pull over and it's time to eat. They could have mashed potatoes and meatloaf if they wanted. Right. On that, but with me it was.
And this is the 1980s, because you got into the diet around 82, if I'm correct. And so from 82 to 90.
So I mean, I'm just out
the mode.
Hanging, and that and driving. I just constantly stayed out, man, traveling somewhere. I mean, because wasn't nothing happening in Cincinnati, but I always was based out of Cincinnati. I always, like I think I told you yesterday, we were talking, I went from Chicago 4 times in a week.
Right.
From Cincinnati. I mean, that's how much I was doing, so people would see me in Cincinnati, but
yeah.
I was always
keeping it moving. And
keeping it moving, doing, as I can say now, just doing crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Doing crazy things, man, getting on planes. And
so when you say crazy, so what do you mean by that? Is crazy?
Well, it was the drug stuff, man. I was into the drug thing.
We talking about once you got into the diet. I thought you got off the drugs in 82. We're talking post 82.
Yeah, but you talking like transitioning out of that.
Yeah.
Of the business part of that.
Okay.
So, that was like trying to, like, okay, I'm cool. Like I got this together. But now I'm trying to get out of it business wise.
Yeah.
So I was making a ton of money, man. It was like, when you used to making that kind of money.
And what were you doing, if you want to tell people?
You
didn't say that.
I was like I was your drug dealer to the stars.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'll say that. I was your drug dealer to the stars.
Yeah. Yeah. You show
and when I say that, I mean literally.
For real. Yeah. You show up in the limousine.
Yeah.
If you wanted if you were a famous pop star, you would have met.
I met them all.
Willie Smart,
I
brother.
met all the pop stars, all the jazz stars, everybody wanted to hang. From Basquiat, the artist, to Andy Warhol. I mean, all these, I was in Studio 54 hanging out. I mean, people can remember that, but they didn't have no clue about that kind of thing, man. I'm like 19 and 20 years old.
Right.
Getting invited to all these A parties and you walk in like, whoa, like, man, they kissing on each other, like,
yeah.
Like, you'd be like, man, and so I think about those times of giving things that I could let that go, and as much access as I had to the drugs as I didn't get strung out like a lot of my partners, because you gotta remember that was right before the crack epidemic hit.
Yeah.
And so I watched a lot of my partners crumble, man, because I was just sitting back watching, because at that point I wasn't into it, especially not doing drugs.
Yeah.
That didn't necessarily mean I wasn't still around it.
Right.
And had my hand in it, I had people working, in things, and I, this was an organization, man.
I mean, the real,
it was real organized.
And people don't, right. Yeah, because I tell people, man, people don't realize, because we don't always talk about that time in your life, and that your brother Air.
It's nothing. We talking about it now.
We getting it out here. But I sometimes I say, brother Air, he basically lived the life that movies are made of. That where the movie, like the whole mainstream pus and mucus culture. They want to be. Around famous people or famous themselves, or someone that's important
and
within
influenced a lot of people to. I mean, like, I'm not gonna say the name, but when you see these jazz artists wearing all these suits, that started because of me.
Where you was, cause he was back in the day wearing all the designer suits and stuff when cats wasn't doing it.
I was GQ man. I mean, I used to carry me a GQ magazine. I mean, like, had the subscription.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was, because I could afford it. I could afford to dress like that. $400-500 suits.
Yeah.
In 1980. I mean,
right.
1979, I'm like, and so when you see the jazz guys who came during the 80s, and you said the suits that was me, man. I was the one that was walking around in Hugo Boss, Carnelli's, Don Robbie. I knew all the designers. I sold them dope, man. I knew Calvin Klein. Not that. I mean, I don't know them cats. I'm not saying nothing that's new. I mean, I'm not saying what they're doing now, but everybody had a past. And was dabbling and acting a fool, and Studio 54 was. Man, that was.
And so that's that puts some perspective for folks that would not have a clue about that. Brother Air, this is a cat that when he's 19 years old, he's riding around in limousines and helicopters and doing the whole. It was the whole piece, man. Just basically living the life that all the rappers are rapping about, and they fantasizing about, because they're not doing it for real. A lot of them are fake, But this was the real doing that, living that type of life.
I used to could get on a plane, man, with 10 ounces of cocaine on me. Just walk on the plane with. I'm taking it somewhere. I'm taking it to. somebody who's on tour down in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right.
I'm taking it to the whole band and crew.
Right.
You know, and I mean, it sends cold chills up my spine to think about that. And then and then all I can say to this, and the people have to do their homework, but follow the story of crack to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Cause you knew the cat, the freeway.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, he's not.
Story.
Follow the story. Okay, all right.
I'm just saying Cincinnati was a pivotal point of that whole crack epidemic.
Yeah.
Now, where am I from?
Right. And
why Cincinnati?
Right. Right.
You know,
and you said that was, you know, that was hitting at a time when you had decided that's when it was time to get out. You know,
I was seeing the big picture, and it was like, you know, if I ever made any kind of judgment or common sense type of judgment about my life, that was very, very. I'm happy that I made that decision, like, cause I seen what was coming down the pike. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. Cause what you say, you know, there's a difference between you was selling something to people for, you know, $500,000 a pop.
You got this expensive
now
drug.
People are gonna be buying it for
about turning it
$10
into a drug that the riffraff could buy for $5 or $10 or $20. I was like, you could see that just turning into what it became the crack epidemic.
Yeah,
you could see it, and I was like, okay. At that time, I'll never forget. I mean, all this was taking place of changing my diet. I was a vegetarian, you know, still struggling with dairy. But then I'm rolling down the street. I'll never forget. I was with my cat. I just came home just to visit, and I'm riding down the street in the passenger side of a friend's car, and I see Victor Buttram and Daishan Woody on 4th Street playing, you know, drum set and saxophone, and they're playing this avant-garde shit. I'm like at the light, I'm in the car like, what?
Yeah.
Seeing no shit like that.
Right.
In Cincinnati, man, it's like, you know, Cincinnati is, you know, pigs and, you know, pigs on the corner, statues of pigs.
Statues of pigs. And
here go some black guys with long locks.
Yeah.
Playing this most avant-garde type of, you know, like real Anthony Braxton type of, you know, Ascensions type of Coltrane type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you gotta turn around. Wait a minute, so I get out and go and see who these guys are. I'm like, man, what's up? You know? And then it's like, I was like, well, I'm a musician too. It's like, yeah. And so, you know, they said, well, like, we got a little practice spot up here that we practice. Why don't you come by later on? So I was like, okay, cool. So by that time, I got into my car, and I went on over there to the practice spot. Get over there, and they're talking about the diet. And I was like, well, yeah, I'm vegetarian. So they're like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, and they said, well, if you like this kind of stuff, you ever heard of Arnold Eric? I was like, I don't know. I might have. Come to find out, I had the book. But I was always in different cities, so that's what I would always do, would go to bookstores.
Right.
You know, where everybody else was at that time was going to the video arcade and shit, you know.
Right.
And playing Pac-Man and, you know, whatever they was. I would go to bookstores and stuff and just browse and buy books and just buy them because, you know, I was like, okay, you know, because when you up in a hotel room by yourself, man, you know, because I wasn't into just like meeting women and screwing them, man. I wasn't into that, you know. So books were my my company. So I had bought this book, you know, along with a bunch of other books that I was gonna read, because I
Right.
was reading like 2-3 books this thick a week.
Yeah,
I mean, I was
yeah.
just on information. I was trying to find the truth as I'm trying to clean myself up in this, in this manner, but I didn't know how, but I knew reading and, okay, I'm trying to be a vegetarian. I'm trying all this stuff, man, that's supposed to be about enlightenment. I'm going to all these lectures, man. I mean, I had money so I could go to lectures and this and buy all these books. I'm just doing everything I could do to try to get myself to this point. And then I run into, he's like, well, you ever heard of Arnold Eric? Yeah, because I go home. Okay, I hadn't even had a chance to go out and get the book. I said, man, for some reason, let me look through my stack. And I had the book.
Yeah.
But I hadn't read it yet.
Yeah.
And so I get to reading it, man, and boy, a light went off. And I was like, whoa. So that was like the change of everything for me. And then I slowly, see, when you talk about, I was out of it. I had to slowly trend. You just don't jump out with that kind of information. Like, I'm out.
Right.
Like I got all your information about this business that is making people millions and millions of dollars, and you just ain't gonna walk away,
right?
And we're not trusting you like that,
Right.
So that's where all that went, man, and so I was able to eventually walk away.
Yeah.
Unscathed and never looked back, and lived on the money that I had saved for years. It was funny when I got with my wife, and I joked with her. I said, damn, as soon as I got with you, now I'm broke.
Right.
But I lived on that. I lived on money, for 7-8 years, man. I mean, that's what the kind of money that I'm talking about.
Right.
I mean, even though now I was playing jazz, I mean, I would go out and do, but at that point it was very second priority. Now I'm into this health piece, like, I'm trying to hook up with all the health gurus now.
Right.
I'm not trying to hook up with Dexter Gordon and Betty Cole. I had a chance to go. I was invited. Betty told me, come audition, no.
Yeah.
And I see all those guys now, Lewis Nash, Ralph Peterson, all those guys was there, when I was there in New York, and I was the one that was working.
Right.
Come to find out, Emily Rimler, playing with her, she ends up dying of drug overdose. And it was deep because she was always trying to keep me around. And even when I was getting out of it, she was always trying to keep me around because she knew I was clean. So she wanted to be around somebody clean.
Right.
So when I couldn't make a gig, she would be so upset. Next thing I know, I was really out of it, like totally out of the, piece. And she was, over in Australia and died, So it was, watching that,
So tell me about, at what year did you start becoming celibate, and why? The old celibacy,
Yeah, probably around 82, 83, yeah.
Yeah, so around when you started.
What was happening was the practice of the Mucusless diet, like that really affected me. Like reading that book just knocked me out. I mean, it made, and dealing with Victor Buttram.
Yeah.
Being around a cat like that and us just talking for hours and going into subjects and, subjects that you just can't talk with everyone.
And for those that's watching, I got this is a video clip from like 2003 or 4 of Brother Air, where he was talking about celibacy on this TV show, the public access TV show.
Okay.
With the
I can see it. Yeah.
with I forget her name. Upfront Live.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember
04.
that.
Yeah, aired on public access. And of course, I added all these weird effects to it and stuff as I did back then. But you can kind of tell, the brother Air, back then talking about that. But so around 1982, were you being influenced by some of the? You said you was reading all these different books. Was you kind of influenced by
physiology? I was coming to grips with understanding about the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
So I became I guess the word would be very arrogant about who I came in contact with on that level. I was like, oh no, and I wasn't that far into it. I mean, I was into it, but I didn't have that kind of, yeah, I've been doing this for years. No, I was just like, no, man,
just made sense.
In a woman at that point, man, I was like, I'm into this. I'm into learning about the body, focusing and reading on everything I can about
studying.
The body.
Yeah, really.
I wasn't into the women, man.
Really studying. A connection I'd like to make that people don't make oftentimes for us or people in the United States or or in circumstances that don't have all these kind of, I don't know, this sort of mystique to it. I mean, Brother Air basically in transitioning into the Mucusless diet, he was using Mucusless diet as the quintessential spiritual path in terms of, and I use that in.
This was my Moses on the Mount.
He didn't need to go to an ashram for 10 years and and that kind of stuff. He was doing it where he was at.
Where I was at.
Where he was at.
And
so there's and so that that's important to understand, because that's part of what we're saying and what we're trying to bring to the table is you do this where you're at to the best of your ability. And if circumstances change or whatever, and you're able to make the move you're supposed to move when you're supposed to do it, you're going to do it. But
that's the way it's supposed to be done, is that when you get the truth, you react to the truth.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what's going on.
The
truth
and the consequences of dealing with the truth.
Yeah.
You gotta be willing, you gotta see, and that's the fear. That's the fear of people.
Right.
Why they don't want to deal with the consequences. Where I didn't give a rat's ass at that point. I was like, I'm into this. But we talked about the fall fund. I had a fall fund. And I was very realistic about, I wasn't going out buying all kind of jewelry and all, you know what I mean? Even though I loved, at that point when I was, I loved the nice suits and $300 shoes. This is back in the early 80s, $400. But at that point, it was just about the basic, like reducing everything to its lowest denominator. This is how I'm gonna sustain. This is what I'm gonna do. I got back into my family, helping my grandmother, and just being conscious about my mother and my grandmother, about their needs and helping them to live out their lives. What would be, more comfortable. And things like that, man. And I was, playing music and, and I was just trying to, it was almost like I faded out the opportunities to become this young lion, new jazz star.
Yeah.
And I was there, I was the one and shit, and then I watched the ones, become that.
Yeah.
I just sat back and Because I moved out of it. I was like, man, I'm not interested in that. And boy, I'm so glad I made this choice.
Yeah, because that's another. That's another element. So you had the life, the Scarface lifestyle, but you was also becoming one of the up and comers in the jazz community,
right?
And could have, if you would have stayed on that path, then you would
have. My mother told me once. She said, "Well, wow, you've been practicing and doing all this stuff for years. Now you get opportunity." I was like, "Nah, I can't explain it."
Yeah.
I couldn't explain why I was backing off, but I knew why I was backing off. But really, I didn't know. I just knew something had got me in terms of your body is an air gas engine. That flipped me out, man. I was like, damn, that's heavy.
Right.
I couldn't dispute that.
Right.
So, living in this bizarro type of society, and I hear a statement like your body is an air gas engine. And now things start to it's almost like the right words can clear up constipation. You know what I mean? Open up a flow to some more truths.
Right.
The right words. The right words have that kind of impact on your vessel, on your body, to move that kind of constipation. And that's what that did, man. That just opened up the floodgates for me, and then everything rushed in. Everything rushed in as far as making sense of the body now.
Right.
Where now I'm thinking, if my body's an air gas engine and I'm in a society that doesn't have any respect for the air that we breathe, then something is real wrong here.
Right.
I'm around some monsters. We've turned into zombies, and we've definitely have not connected with the nature of ourselves. It's like we're doing everything. How people say, well, they think they're gods. We actually believe that we were the deities. We were the gods. And to come to find out, we are, but not in that process of the way that this society was thinking.
Right.
I had to go full circle to understand that, this is about me. If I'm a part of nature, nature is forever. Nature is immortal. I'm a part of nature. I'm not a separate entity.
Right.
So, I'm immortal. So now, the history lesson becomes, okay, let's retract. And what I decided to do was I wanted to follow history based on the stomachs of people. So I started investigating that, man, and things that I was coming up with was just earth-shattering to me, man. Like, wow, when I started understanding the cultures, even going back to Kemet and farther back to the land of Atlantis. As far back as I could get, man, I started dealing with the stomachs of people, stomachs of a culture. And that started putting things together logically for me as far as answering some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, answering some questions. So that's the kind of thing you have to, if you want these truths, you got to be willing to give up some things, man, to get this knowledge.
Yeah.
You gotta, You know, you gotta give up the cruises and the social time with the, you know, the family, and you know, I mean, you gotta, unless you're gonna have a family that's based on some truth. But there's a lot of things that a lot of people aren't ready to give up, and that's why they you know, they elude themselves that they do have a life.
Right.
You know, and it's a delusion. You know, they don't have a life. They have, you know, I call it annihilation. It's just annihilation type of life. Like this, it's like listening to crazy white boys play heavy metal. You know, it's like the slow suicide. You know, and they try to turn it into, you know, make you think that it's something. Some music to it, you know. Yeah. You'd be like, no, bro.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a discussion for another day. That opens up a whole thing, because then that's
but it's
the
a part of the mucus and pus delusion of what. See, when you're off the rail, you can just keep going off the rail, and when you keep going off the rail, you start coming up with everything. You know,
yeah.
I mean, you start coming up with everything. You know, we believe.
Well, it's an expression of one's physiology and consciousness.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. Is that what that doesn't represent lettuce and strawberries.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is.
What it is. Yeah.
You know, look at it. In that, you know, I just look at it in that type of framework. You know, it is what it is, and all we can do is look at, because it's not what they're doing is not for us. Like what we're doing really ain't for them. You know, because they're not gonna vibrate on it.
It is for them.
They ain't ready for it. You know.
No, but I'm saying, but it is for them.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying? It is for them. But they're just so constipated that they can't. It's like static. They can't hear for the static. That's what's running through their bloodstream. It's like static. You know, it's just pure constipation. I mean, you know, I mean, I go through this thing where, you know, people try to tell me that the Beatles were the greatest group ever, and I'm like, that's fine for white folks to think like that. But,
well,
you know,
I mean, you know, marketing is a mug. You know,
I mean, you know, I mean, they were whatever they were to whoever they wanted it to be. But, you know, in the 60s, I know what black people were dealing with, and the Beatles wasn't it. You know what I mean? When you're inundated with people telling you to assign value to a certain thing, and this is the point I'm trying to make, is how people assign value to people. Not that the Beatles or none of those guys were bad guys or anything like that, but when you have a system that elevates and tells you what's important, and you start, you're not even, you just, whatever they say is
no, you just whatever's on the radio, whatever's on TV,
whatever they tell you to
no
like,
control.
You like
you
like it, regardless of you throwing up later.
Whatever they feed you. I mean, it's a feeding process. They're feeding you something,
right.
And
so,
and you know you better like it.
You know. So I mean, that's how these things go with those who are trying to get themselves together. A lot of it is fear, man. They just do not want to, they do not want to deal with getting themselves together, just that.
Right. Yeah.
They want to try to fit it into, well, my career is doing this, and I'm doing, you can't fit it into that. This has to be, when you're getting yourself together, it's all about that. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how the people who are successful, the people that I know and I've been around, the success that they had is based on them just blocking all the bullshit out and being able to deal with just this.
Yeah.
Being very honest with themselves. You know, they didn't get caught up in all that romantic bullshit. You know, that's something that we're gonna talk about. I know you're biting at the bit. You know.
No, I'm not. That's another day. You know. Yeah, that's another day.
You know, but I mean that's you know, but yeah, the whole romance and men women relationship, you know, just
all
that, man.
Yeah, my thing is
it creates an obstruction on getting yourself together.
Yeah,
because it's a delusion. All that shit is in your head. You making up shit.
Yeah, it's it's like the transition away from various levels of mental illness. You know,
it is mental illness.
Yeah, we just.
Falling in love is a mental illness.
Now.
With that,
like
you know
now.
what I mean? Fall in love with cleaning up your blood. Fall in love with that.
Yeah, fall in love with the transition. With
you know, but you talking about another filthy person that you done fell in love with. You ain't even got your shit together, and you falling in love with another filthy person.
Yeah, it's
So you know, I hate to say it like that because people are together and they have feelings for each other.
Yeah.
But I didn't go into that with the lady that I was with and had children with. We didn't think like that. I at no point I didn't give her the illusion that I was just smitten. You know.
Yeah.
It was all about we have work to do and we are serving this entity of cleaning ourselves up and create and help to bring in a culture.
Yeah.
Like we got to get to a culture. And that's what it was about. It wasn't about all this, it's Valentine's Day and I just love you and I'll give you chocolates and all this bullshit. You know, you got work to do. You got work to do on you. You did. And if somebody else can help you and you can help them get themselves together, then that's where the work starts.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the work starts. Even before you start talking about having children, you got to clean yourself up.
Yeah.
You know, because now you creating a fraction of a fraction. A filthier fraction.
Right. Yeah, that's it. And that's gonna, you know, that's definitely. I mean, we can go all day on that topic. We will.
Well,
we're at this point.
We got the air day coming up.
We got the air day coming up.
So you can ask us about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get into that.
Yeah,
we can talk privately or
because you know. Yeah. I mean, we will. You know, and I like to hear
open
from
up the floodgates. We're gonna open
because
up
what
the floodgates.
what happens with me is, you know, because sometimes I test people every once in a while, like on the forum. I will throw something out there that I know most people aren't ready to talk about, but they'll say, "Oh, you're holding stuff back. We want to hear it." No, you don't. I guarantee you don't, because when I put it and I write it, nobody wants to get into it. They don't want to get into that.
People on the forum, man.
Ready for that?
An Eric quote, and I didn't put Arnold Eric, and it went crazy.
Oh man,
people went crazy.
This
was Arnold Eric's quote. I just wrote it and left it alone, and people went nuts.
Yeah, that was that was rough.
We had to throw a few people out.
Yeah, it got bad. Bloody, it got pretty bad.
Yeah, and, so you know, people always, brother Aaron, talk about the, you really want me to talk about some stuff?
You can't handle the truth, you know.
Yeah. I'm talking about, boy, when we get to start talking about, romance and men, women, and society and having jobs and because there's very few people who can maintain these jobs. Luckily, me and Spira know a few of them that have that infiltrating double cross type of mentality.
Right.
But that's very few. We talking, and they know who they are.
Right.
We know them.
Yeah.
And they know what they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing.
Right. Yeah. There's a few that can kind of navigate that, and we gotta, we're back out here. We got a lot to talk about, so we're gonna be hitting you guys with more over the time. But let's take a look at see what the comment section is talking about. We like to go through and just for a few minutes before we get off of here. We've been on for a little while. Let me see what's been happening. Joe G said, combined with juice fasting, I've had some nasty parasites come out. It's helped me have regular bowel movements because the lemon juice breaks up a lot of the old stored up waste. Yes. Thank you for your testimonial there, brother. That's true. Very true. And we got to say it. We got to let people know that this is some real stuff happening out here.
How do you think about when you die and you get buried in the ground and then, how the worms start eating you up? But you are walking and living and the worms are still inside of you eating you up. What's the difference?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's one way to think about that.
Yeah. It's like, wow. It's like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And
let's see. There was a cat that said he had a friend that played with trumpeter Al Hurt, and he was snorting coke out of a shoehorn on the bus.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah,
I've seen all of that.
Yeah. Then let's see. The raw food soldier Chris says, "Did Brother Air get his internet finally? He owes me an interview." Yeah.
Mr. Hall, how you doing? And yes, we hooked it up and that's funny. That's funny because we talked about you, so we coming your way. Still been checking out your podcast. And it looked like you had done something with. It looked like you had a woman with a bikini on. I didn't get a chance to read what that was about, but very interested in that one.
Right.
I don't know what that was about, but I'm gonna cut some time to look at that one.
So let's see. Next, that's G. Kuljan asked, if I pronounce that right, did Brother Air ever play with Gil Scott-Heron? I swear he looks exactly like one of his drummers.
No, I hung out with him. Where he was sitting having a conversation one day. And he just had this, like when you have a banquet and they had these big bottles of wine.
Yeah.
Like for like a banquet, not just a regular size.
The big one.
He was sitting drinking
that whole one. Yeah.
Right out the bottle, just talking to us and just, We just hung out all night to about 6 a.m, man, talking Black consciousness and things,
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. See what's next. I went in the other direction. Let me get. Oh, he said I went in the other direction. I didn't like what was being fed to us. Didn't like the Beatles, but when I found the Bad Brains, I went nuts. The Bad Brains. All right.
The Bad Brains. Okay. Well,
Let's see. The cleaner the body is, the less sleep you need, and may even skip a couple days, then only sleep for 4 hours. What do you say to people who say that's unhealthy or there is something wrong with you? And that goes back to earlier conversation when we was talking about the sleeping habits of Brother Air. As far as I go, I tell people to sleep as much as you need for your physiology, for your situation.
There's nothing wrong with sleep.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that I don't sleep like that. And I'm trying to avoid the big sleep. You know?
It's like transitioning away from sleep,
Away from sleep,
but as far as when people say, that's all I have to say to people when they're like, well, what's that? It's like, look, I'm not telling anybody not to sleep or to sleep less or more. I'm just saying that's something you got to figure out for yourself and your physiology. What makes you feel good, what you need.
Well, the one thing is that we can say this, is that what people run into is they don't have enough time to sleep. They got to get up and they got to be somewhere.
Right.
Where now, if I need to sleep, I can sleep all day.
Yeah.
If I don't have to get up.
Right.
I get up when I want to. I go to sleep when I want to.
Right.
So, it's one thing to have, because I see people are just working, man, they get off and then they have to go to another job and then they running around trying to do this for the family and they get back in and they might have, I'm dealing with a percussionist right now, a friend of mine, and we play together. And he tells me his schedule, man, especially when he's trying to still do gigs because he's a cook.
Yeah.
During the day. And man, it's like he's just, just kind of just walking around. He's, like a zombie. Because he literally comes in from a gig about 1 o'clock in the morning. He's got to be at work at like 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
So he lays down, tries to get a couple hours, back up. He's working, and it's this constant stuff, man. And it's like, when are you gonna take your life? Like my life is my life. You only get one shot down here.
Yeah.
Don't blow it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you giving yourself to these other entities? Well, I gotta make a living. What? You ain't making a living. You making a dying.
Yeah. Right.
You're not making a living. You're killing yourself. The things that you think that you needed to make that living, sometimes you can reduce it to its lowest denominator. Sometimes you got to cut back. I would say health is wealth. It truly is.
Yeah.
Health is wealth. So you trying to, do all this and trying to be wealthy and drive your little cars and you this and you trying to make people think. That's really a thing too, man.
Keeping up appearances.
Yeah, people are still into that big time, and you hear people say that they're not, but they are.
Yeah.
They really are, to the point where they won't leave their garbage cans out a couple of extra hours because because they so conscious of what are they gonna say.
Yeah, worrying about what other people think.
I leave my shit out for 2 days, just to piss them off. Like I know they come in like, is he gonna take his garbage can? And now I'm gonna leave it out another day, just to piss you off.
Yeah.
So we gotta decide, man, what is the priority here? The vegans and the raw food, and everybody's talking about detoxing and health. I want to be healthy, but they still have the same values and morality of the hot dog and hamburger people.
Right.
You can't assign value to the bullshit. If you're trying to truly clean yourself up, you know, you can't assign value. You gotta call what this thing out here what it is. It's filthy on all kind of levels. People got these monster mentalities. Don't want to serve, don't want to help. How could you be a part of something that's not about elevating the human spirit and human people? Right. But you about, well, you go get your degree, and the degree gives you license to literally kill people. Yeah. Now, you know what people are talking about, vegan, holistic health, all this stuff, and you still become a doctor. And right. and you know these other ideas and thoughts are out there, but you still become a doctor. You still get your degree. And in most cases, I know too many vegan doctors and vegan nurses, and they would not, the things that they put inside of people and that they do to people, they wouldn't do to themselves. And they say it. Mm-hmm. They say, I wouldn't take that. But, you know, they don't have a problem giving it to somebody else. How can you live like that? Yeah. You know, how can you live like this? It's been acceptable to have that kind of orientation. That's acceptable living. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's acceptable. Yeah. You know, and so we have to be real hardcore on those people who are doctors are literally murdering and killing people based on profound ignorance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Based on arrogancy. They're arrogant. They think what they know, and they based on, okay, well, the pharmaceutical company is gonna give me a trip to Maui if I keep people on these prescriptions. So last month I got this as a prize, an incentive from the pharmaceutical company. So next month I'm gonna try for the trip to Paris. If I can push 500 tablets or you know what I mean? I mean it's got sickening, man, and we need to really come against these folks for real, and really you know, concentrate on putting ourselves back together and having a real culture, man. This is about culture. This ain't no culture. This is just like we call it. This is a death culture. Yeah. There ain't nothing good in none of it. There ain't nothing. Your sports, your politics, your churches, your religions, all that. There's nothing good in it. Nothing good in it. Your educational system stinks. It's a joke. It's a joke. Here's your receipt. Here. Go through school. Here go your receipt. You know, it's a joke. And we just keep patting each other on the back for being a part of it. Yep. When the hell somebody gonna graduate from kindergarten to first grade? What the hell you gonna have a ceremony for that for? Went from eating cookies and orange juice to now, you know, they can write 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So now you're gonna have a graduation. I mean, it's sickening. Yeah, it's sickening. Hey, you know, we got to do this work. You know, that's where we at now, and it's time to. It's just time. It's time, like you said, we get this one shot. Let's make it happen. You know, let's really get one shot, thing, man. You know, we only get one shot. We choose to use our shot like we are doing. Yeah. And so all right, so we're gonna wrap this episode up,
And I want to thank Brother Air for coming on here. And this was, I think, a real good episode. We got a lot of new information, things that I know people out there haven't heard. There's some stuff I hadn't heard before. And so this is going to be one to go back and study.
Looking for me. I hope they don't come looking for me, those folks.
Yeah, right.
I've stayed away from them for 34, 35 years. I hope they don't come looking for me for what I know.
Yeah.
So
hey, you talk about the Brother Air Witness Protection Program that you've done. Put yourself in for real.
I've been in that. So I'm at some secret location. Only Professor Spira knows.
Yeah.
They're gonna come after you, man, looking for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So
the Contras, all the Contras, and all that whole thing, man. That was heavy. So. Yeah, Professor, you started something, man. You brought up that. Now I'm putting it on you.
Yeah, well, all right. Yeah, we will. Hey, I have a feeling that the folks that you was dealing with probably don't exist anymore. A lot of them folks is probably either dead and
that's true. I've heard of a few of them that have passed, so that is true.
So, I mean, it's a whole different. There's so much that had happened once you was out the game. I mean, they had the whole Colombian. The Colombians had several dynasties come through since then.
Yeah.
So it's a whole different game now.
Whole different world, man. Because it was scary now. I mean, to the point where I never walked around with guns, but I was around everybody who had guns.
Right.
But now there's nobody in that whole thing that don't walk around with guns.
Right. Yeah, that's something, man. Well, we're all glad that you got out, that you was able to get out the life, because so many cats can't. Just be another statistic, either in jail or dead. It's real stuff, and so we glad that you got up out of that mess, and that you tell the tale.
Still trying to clean myself up from all the drugs and bad eating habits.
Yeah.
That I learned from my family, and so I'm still basically transitioning.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this second episode of the Mucus-free Life Podcast. And again, we mentioned it at the top of the episode. We're raising money for the Earth Day celebration. A link is down below to our GoFundMe. Please donate what you can. We're trying to put on a world-class program this year and just grow it, make it stronger, and really have a lot of fun. You can hear the music right now. We're listening to some music we made at last year's Earth Day celebration, and it's coming up quick. It's less than 2 months away. We're about almost a month and a half away from the Earth Day celebration. So we're getting together, we're working, we're going to get these tickets on sale as soon as possible. For those of y'all, we want you to come out. So we will just stay plugged in. All that information is going to be coming out to you. So also, real quick plug, we talking about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I actually have a book bundle, Mucus-free Life book bundle, ultimate everything. That's everything. For one low price, you can get the PDF versions of the book, the PDF digital, the MP3s of the audiobook of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, all of that for one low price. Hook that up. If you're interested in the e-course, you can also check out information about that, Mucusless Diet Healing System e-course. And so this has been great. I really thank you so much for plugging in. Please share this episode, share the podcast. If you're listening to it, share the podcast link. If you're watching this on YouTube, share the YouTube link. Share this with folks. Get this information out there. That's all we're trying to do, is just bring this information, this consciousness, and this vibration to the public. So until next time, we signing out. This is Professor Spira,
Brother Air,
And we out of here. Peace, love, and breath.
Peace.